the dark side of the United States of America. The dark side of the United States of America is a complex and controversial topic that has been debated by many people from different perspectives. Some of the aspects that are often considered as the dark side of the U.S. are the history of slavery, racism, and discrimination against African Americans and other minorities, which has left a legacy of inequality, injustice, and violence in the society. The U.S. was founded on the ideals of freedom and democracy, but also on the exploitation and oppression of millions of enslaved people who were brought from Africa and forced to work on plantations. Even after the abolition of slavery in 1863, African Americans faced segregation, lynching, Jim Crow laws, and other forms of discrimination that denied them their civil rights and human dignity. The civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s challenged the system of racial oppression, but racism still persists in various forms today, such as police brutality, mass incarceration, voter suppression, and hate crimes. The involvement in wars, coups, and interventions around the world, which has caused death, destruction, and instability in many regions. The U.S. has been involved in numerous wars and conflicts since its independence, such as the War of 1812, the Mexican-American War, the Civil War, the Spanish, American War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, the Iraq War, and the war in Afghanistan. Some of these wars were justified by self-defense or humanitarian reasons, but others were motivated by imperialism, expansionism, or ideological interests. The U.S. has also supported or orchestrated coups and interventions in countries such as Iran, Guatemala, Chile, Cuba, Nicaragua, Grenada, Panama, Haiti, Somalia, Yugoslavia, Libya, Syria, and Venezuela. These actions have often violated international law and human rights and have created resentment and hostility among many people around the world. The problems of capitalism, consumerism, and inequality that affect the economy, society, and environment. The U.S. is one of the richest and most powerful countries in the world, but also one of the most unequal and wasteful. The U.S. has a system of capitalism that promotes free market, competition, innovation, and entrepreneurship, but also creates huge gaps between the rich and the poor. The U.S. has a culture of consumerism that encourages materialism, individualism, and hedonism, but also generates waste, pollution, and depletion of natural resources. The U.S. has a democracy that allows people to vote and participate in politics, but also suffers from corruption, lobbying, gerrymandering, and polarization. These are some of the aspects that can be considered as the dark side of the United States of America. However, this is not a comprehensive or definitive list. There may be other aspects that are not mentioned here or that are disputed by different viewpoints. The U.S. is a diverse and dynamic country that has many achievements and challenges. It is important to acknowledge both its strengths and weaknesses in order to understand its history and its future.